Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show today. So today is going to be a different show than we've ever done before because we're talking about something that's really near and dear to my heart and a topic that I really think that everybody should know more about. And it's really all about how to really help true heroes. So with us today is Todd Domerese. Now, we're laughing here because I just actually told him I was going to completely mess up for his last name. That's how it started off here. That's how he started off.
Right.
So
Yep.
Todd joined the Army at age 23 as an infantryman. In his 15 years in the Army, he served with the 101st Airborne, the 25th Infantry Division, and the 1st Cavalry Division at Fort Hood, Texas. He did a 6-month peacekeeping deployment in Kosovo in 2000, a 1-year-long combat deployment in Sadr City, Iraq in 2004, and a 1-year-long combat deployment to the Helmand Province in Afghanistan in 2010. Now, December 27, 2004, his vehicle was hit by 2 improvised explosive devices simultaneously. His gunner was killed instantly, and his driver had his arm torn apart by shrapnel. And Todd had a large metal fragment go through his Kevlar vest, which caused a period of unconsciousness, a large complex skull laceration, a linear skull fracture, and swelling and bruising on his brain, and multiple shrapnel pieces embedded in his face that had to be surgically removed. Now, some of his disabilities that Todd suffers from are severe post-traumatic stress disorder, severe migraine headaches, and other residential effects from his moderate traumatic brain injury. Now, his awards include the Air Assault Badge, the Expert Infantry Badge, the Combat Infantry Badge, the Expert Marksmanship Badge, the Purple Heart Medal, the Army Commendation Medal, the Army Achievement Medal, the Good Conduct Medal, the National Defense Service Medal, Kosovo Campaign Medal, Afghanistan Medal, Campaign Medal, Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal, the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, the Military Outstanding Volunteer Service Medal, the Non-Commissioned Officer Professional Deployment Ribbon, the Army Service Ribbon, the Army Overseas Service Ribbon, the Afghanistan NATO Medal, and the Kosovo NATO Medal. Now, Todd has been married for 14 years and has 2 sons, Benjamin, age 9, and Joshua, age 5. Todd, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me. It's an awesome to be here with you.
So you have a really amazing story, and maybe let's start right there. I mean, can you go back, or do you even want to go back to kind of what happened in that incident and kind of give us a breakdown of kind of what happened there?
Well, it does bother me to talk about it, but I've talked about it enough that I'm kind of getting used to it. It does bring back some memories. It does haunt me. But talking about it, it's fine here. What actually happened is we were taking our vehicles. We were just doing a regular basic combat patrol, showing our presence in the area, letting them know that we were there, that don't come mess with us. We had headed down a road a couple miles. We had found a guy that had a AK-47, and they weren't allowed to have any weapons, and so we stopped him. We took it from him, and we continued on with our mission. We go down the end of the road, turn around, it's like a dead end, like weird around there. Head back the same way we came, and when we come back, my vehicle is the lead vehicle, and we took 2 IEDs at the exact same time. Because what was supposed to happen is one was supposed to go off, and then when other people got out, other soldiers got out of the vehicle to come help the wounded, the second one was supposed to go off then. So we were actually very fortunate they both went off at the same time because it produced, minimal casualties. And then from there it was history. I started, they took me back over to the hospital in Baghdad and spent a few days there, back over to Germany, and then finally back to the United States. And then started getting medical treatment from there. Actually, I got very little treatment. I seen a surgeon, seen some doctors, I was sent home to make a full recovery because back then they didn't know a lot about actual brain injuries at all. And that was my main focus here. I had they call it a moderate traumatic brain injuries, but it was. But, I had a fractured skull, swelling on my front lobes of my brain, and the doctor said the only reason that I didn't go into a coma was because of that fracture allowed for the swelling, so I was very fortunate there. I made a appearance, what made it look like a full recovery after about 2 years. I could actually go back and be myself again to what everybody else, so I look normal to everybody else. But I had a lot of problems. I had headaches, severe headaches constantly, severe vertigo. I was in constant need of attention every day. and I would go to the doctors and be like, look, this is what's going on, and oh, there's nothing wrong with you. You're fine. You're fine. And so, you went to, many, many years went by before I actually got any real medical treatment.
And now you're with, and I think I have an echo there, so my apology if that's the case. So now you're with us to talk a little bit more about Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund. And tell us a little bit about this. What is the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund?
Well, it's a national nonprofit organization that helps support the armed forces and their families. They raise money for to build these traumatic brain injury facilities. They have provided over $200 million so far since 2000, I believe, in building these Intrepid centers. And like I said, they're mainly for, their overall medical treatment, anything that you need, any soldier would need, or any service member would need, and especially for traumatic brain injuries. That's a big focus there.
So what's the aim? What's the goal of the fund? What is it that they really set out to do?
The fund, Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund, is raising the money so they can build the Intrepid Spirit Centers, which are these satellite buildings around the United States at different military bases. They've built 8 so far. Yeah, 8 of them so far, and I'm sorry, they're working on their 8th one right now. That way they can have these centers around the United States to help all the service members that are coming back home from overseas. So when they need help, they don't have to go to, let's say, the mothership, which is in Bethesda, Maryland. They don't have to, head over there. They can go to a place either at their home base or, close by where they can get that help they need. So
why isn't the government building these centers?
I can't answer that question for the government. I really don't know. I do know that the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund did step up to provide this with, to provide the military with these buildings, because they know how good it is for them. They do turn it over to the government once they have finished the building. But it's one of the greatest things that this nonprofit organization can do, and they've helped me a lot. That's been my biggest godsend from them, as far as helping me with my TBI and PTSD.
So Todd, talk about that a little. What happens because this is a really real problem. And, I was watching a show the other day about SEALs, and it was about covering the exact same issue, and how even claiming that they have these head injuries takes them out of the field almost immediately. So it's one of those things that they don't even really get into a lot until a lot of people that suffer from this until they're out, and then they can't get the treatment that they need. So how realistic is this? Do you really have you had a hard time getting the help that you've needed from the VA and the military? And then what have you done with IFHF? Where did they step in and really make a difference in your life?
Well, let me tell you, it was about 8 years before I got any real medical help to begin with. It was about 8.5 years before I got an actual MRI from these guys. So coming with into the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund, I went to the main NACO center, and I was there for 30 days. It was an outpatient facility, and they helped me with like I said, I had my first MRI. They did basically 4.5 weeks, or 4 weeks of medical treatment, which is equals about 2.5 years worth. So, they covered everything from head to toe, inside and out, to help me. And it does the same thing for every other service member. And I'm sorry, if you can say the second part of your question again, I missed it.
Well, I just kind of wanted to know where the VA has maybe failed or stepped up, because it sounds like you've had to go outside of the VA and the military to be able to get the help you need. Is that fairly accurate? A lot of civilians believe that the military, that when things like this happen, that the military is stepping up and covering all the help that you need, but you're getting your help from an outside source. So what's that really look like? I mean, is the VA not really helping as much as they should in these situations where you need to go to a place like IFHF to step up?
Okay, I'm just stop it right there. I did this when I was active duty military still, and I didn't go to the VA till after I was, discharged from the military. So a better way to put it would be these service members that are still active on active duty can go once they return from combat with a traumatic brain injury or any other medical problem that they would need to go to the Intrepid centers, can go, and some can be rehabilitated. Not all brain injuries are severe. There's a mild, moderate, and then severe. So if they were to have a mild traumatic brain injury, they needed this, needed that, they could go there and get them, and they wouldn't actually go to the VA until after they were discharged from the military.
So what is the biggest, problem? What is the biggest challenge that the IFHF is facing now?
They are, the biggest problem is raising money. I wrote down a couple things I wanted to talk about here. The thing is a lot of people don't see the hidden injuries, because I look perfectly normal to you with my hair on my head now. You could never tell that I had a brain injury. The top of my head looks like a spider web when it's when there's no hair there. So people don't realize that brain injuries are real. You can't see right now that I lay on the couch 2 or 3 times a week because of a headache, or go in my bed and just because I'm not feeling good because of what happened, or just constant pain. That's the big one for me. People can't see the invisible wounds, and so they don't think that brain injuries are actually a real thing. It's getting better now, but not. But it's still a far-fetched out there that people don't see, so they don't want to oh well. If he's fine, why do I need to give money to help him recover? And that's one of the biggest problems that we have right now with the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund, and as far as raising money to build these centers. But in all actuality, it's helping out, and sending, some of these service members back, keeping them active duty because they're able to help them out enough to fix them, so to speak, I guess.
There were some other things that you wanted to make sure that you talked about. Did you get a chance to jump into those? And while you're looking at that, let me know what's the psychological benefits of, focusing on the mental health of a fallen hero like this?
I guess it depends on the person, because you'll never fully get over it. I was close to my buddy that I lost with me that day. It's a lot to do with the individual. You can, they do provide you with a lot of things that can help you cope with the situation, because they know that you're not going to ever recover 100% from it. But if the main mission is to make sure that, if I can get you back out there and at least give you, a way to, that's what they've done for me, give me a way to live, that, and being able to cope with the problems that I have on a daily basis, that's I'm forever grateful for that.
What are some of the things that they do specifically to kind of help focus on recovery and to kind of help you improve from all of the things that have happened?
Well, it's as silly as it may sound. I've done art therapy, music therapy, yoga. They had things with my spouse to help her understand the things that we're going through. We did, a lot of, we did a biofeedback. We did, like I said, we did the MRIs. We did, a lot of medical treatment. Like I said, head to toe. I think all those things combined, really brings it together to make it one awesome medical experience for the individual.
What are some of the things that you think are the biggest challenges for people with traumatic brain injury, with servicemen with traumatic brain injury? What's some of the biggest challenges that you guys face?
Like as I was telling you a little bit before, they don't see me. I told my wife, after this happened, I'm like, I wish I would have lost a leg or an arm, because people see that and realize that, like, oh, hey, this guy's got something wrong with him. People can't see the invisible wounds of traumatic brain injuries and post-traumatic stress. And so that is a really huge problem that, most of us face on a daily basis, depending on where we're at in our daily lives, or down the road, how far we've came since that day that we had, I'm sure a large majority of the service members still are dealing with that. It's hard to tell somebody that, this is what problems I'm having because I had a traumatic brain injury. Hey, can you help me out? No, there's nothing wrong with you. You look fine to me. I got that a lot. So getting these doctors and actual people to understand that, hey, actually you do have a problem. Because, if you had a brain injury, I'd never know by looking at you. And it's the same thing with you looking at me. It's hard for people to understand that, how what a problem it really is to be dealt with.
Well, what are some of the best ways that, people that don't see that or notice this about you can best relate to veterans with, PTSD and these other kind of invisible wounds? I mean, what's the best thing as civilians that we can do to kind of help, relate and help you through that healing process?
Not all people are bad. I mean, I have had a lot of people, support me in my darkest times, support me in my best times. And for them to do that, that's one of the biggest things that they need. Also, when what they can do too is help by donating any funds that would help to build the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund, or support the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund, so they can build the Intrepid centers that we can provide these other service members to get the help that they need, in a closer military post, to them, that would serve them well.
So if we look at the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund, what are some of the things that can be done to help the fund? I mean, is it you donate from stocks, from money? What are some other things that people can do if they don't have financial means to donate? Give me an idea of what people that are listening and watching can do to give back to Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund.
They can give their support. I know a lot of people do. I don't know any other ways of donating, because they do take 100% of the donations go directly toward building these Intrepid Spirits and centers. I wish I could tell you there's other ways to donate. The only thing I can say is, just like I said, show your support, be there for the service members when they return home. Acknowledge the problems that they have, help them if you can. It's been a big help for me.
So the big thing is spread the word, and then at the same time, also it's really important, it sounds like, to donate what you can when you can. How do people go about donating?
They can go to intrepidfallenheroesfund.org, and there's many. I don't say many. There's ways on there that they can donate, and I'm sure I know they can donate through the website. There was an app I did a while back. I'm not sure if it's up and running or I would just say recommend you go to the website. fallenheroesfund.org, and donate directly through there.
So, what do you think, Todd? What's you've already kind of touched on this, and I'm sorry for the echo. I don't usually have audio issues, but for some reason I'm having a little bit of reverb today. So has this really made a serious impact on your life with what Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund has done for you?
I tell you, they have changed my life. Being able to go through there and get the medical treatment that I needed for so long, I guess that's why I really touched base with them, because I had went, like I said, over 8 years before I got any medical treatment. And it was, their mind was blown. It was like, how can they go this long without getting any form of medical treatment at all? So it is just such a huge impact on my life, and I can't imagine the impact it's having on other service members' lives, because once something like that happens to you in combat, and you think, am I ever going to get back to where I was, or getting back close to where I was? Once these service members go through the NICO, the National Intrepid Center of Excellence building, the Intrepid Spirit, I tell you, man, it's a life-changing experience. It helps them. It gives them something to look forward to in the future. It helps them out tremendously.
Todd, thanks for coming on today, man. And I mean, thanks for your service. Thanks for your sacrifice. The same to your wife and your kids. I am such a fan of what veterans like you do. It's just we walk through life and take for granted every single day, what we have, and you guys are out there fighting for us to have that right to take that stuff for granted. It seems kind of crazy, but I personally, I can't thank you enough for you and your family's sacrifice for what you've done for this country. So very blessed for what you've done, and my family the same. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me just to hear that, from somebody that I've never met before. I got goosebumps.
Well, I want to be an advocate too. I mean, it's outside of just money. I mean, people like me, I have, at least somewhat of influence in my industry and what I do. And so that's one of the things I can do. And everybody listening or watching, it's not sometimes all about money. It's about sharing on social. It's about sharing the mission. It's about, finding a cause like Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund. Look at somebody that's really the face of it, to know, what's really happening behind the scenes that you can't see, that they're not getting the help that they need from these other sources that we would think would step up and help them. And then you've got places like Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund that dedicate 100% of the money they donate to solving that problem. And you're hearing firsthand from somebody that you see him light up when he talks about what's happened as a result of the experiences he's had with them. So for everybody watching and listening, make sure you go to fallenheroesfund.org. That's fallenheroesfund.org. I'm going to go ahead and put this on the show resources page and check it out. Learn a little bit more about their mission. Again, if you have the means to donate, even if it's a little bit, then do that. Take it. I mean, take somebody that these people are real heroes to us in our country. They give us the lives, the ability to have the lives that we have. So contribute financially, even if it's a little bit of money to help. And if you don't have that, well, then use your influence. As entrepreneurs, we have the ability to get out there and share on social and to be able to have an impact to get others to understand the cause. And it's a two-way street. When 100% of the funds that they gain go to building these centers, that means they don't have the money to market. That means they rely on word of mouth. They rely on social sharing. They rely on people like you and I to be able to get the word out there about what Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund really stands for. So recommend that you please go to fallenheroesfund.org. That would personally mean a lot to Todd. It would personally mean a lot to me to go check that out and see what you can do to give back. And again, Todd, man, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you so much for your sacrifice. It just words can't express how indebted I am to you and your family.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I did want to say one more thing. You said social. We are on Facebook and Instagram as well.
So I will go ahead and include both Facebook and Instagram links on the show resources page too. And you can get to the show at creditsuite.com/podcast. So if you ever go there, you can access the show resources page. And on the show resources page, I'm going to put their Facebook link, their Instagram link, and a link to fallenheroesfund.org. So make sure you check out fallenheroesfund.org, which you can get to their social media pages from there as well. And again, just see what you can do to give back, because even a little makes a big difference in the lives of people like Todd. So again, Todd, thank you so much for coming on with us today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You have a good one.
All right, everybody tuning in, make sure you go to fallenheroesfund.org. That's fallenheroesfund.org. I'm not one to ask for favors. You all know that. I mean, you watch the show. I don't ask for favors. I'm asking for a favor here. Please, this means a lot to me. So just go check out the site. See what you can do to give back, because again, we all wake up every day and take for granted what people like Todd fight every day in their professional careers to make sure that we have that right and that ability to do so. So, go ahead, check out fallenheroesfund.org to see what you can do to give back and help. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Have a great day.